Hey everybody, this is Patrick with the Bark Knights, and today I have Julian Carry on with me, and we're going to be talking about everything Marvel. So, Julian, do you want to take a moment here to introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Julian. I've been friends with Patrick. I'd like to call him P Mark, but Patrick for I want to say like 10 years now. Um, I do love Marvel as well as I'm a big football fan and video game fan, so there's a lot of stuff I like to dabble in on my spare time.
You know, it's probably been a little bit longer than 10 years now because we've known each other since probably, 2008?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
so
Like
we're
as the
four
time goes
years away
by,
from 20 years.
yeah. Man, I would have known you almost like a quarter century of my life.
Yeah, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the first thing I wanted to talk here about is to just dive right into Echo. So have you finished Echo?
I did. I did. I would like to say that was probably one of the better shows that I've seen on Disney Plus that they put out. Um, just a lot of twists and turns, a lot of straight to right in your face action. Like I couldn't stop watching it. Is what it was. I put it down and I'm just like, okay, I'll kind of space it out a little bit so I don't binge through it, and I sure did. I binged through that one.
Yeah. We binged through it as well. I think we got the whole thing watched in like probably less than a week.
Yeah, right. It was more like 5 days for me. think I watched one every single day, starting
Yeah,
on a
I mean,
Monday.
there were some days like I think we watched it in a total over the course of like 3 days. You know, I think we watched
Mm,
like two one day and then like one another and then like two the last day.
yeah, yeah. It was nice for the first episode to be longer than the rest of them because after that it was kind of like an easy watch after.
Yeah. That that's how I talked Sarah into it too. And I was like, oh, this episode's only like 20 minutes long, and she's like, it says 38. And I was like, yeah, there's like 12 minutes of credits on
Credits. But
it.
the one thing I always did was I'll fast forward to see if there was a after credit scene.
Yeah, and the good thing that these streaming services have been doing now is offering like you to skip the end credits or to skip the credits. Like you see the option pop up there for you, so it
Yep.
makes it a little bit easier. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, and this, I guess, to let everybody know, this does have the final episode has an end credit scene, so that's something to look forward to.
Oh yeah. And it was a good one. Very good one. Um, I know when I did watch that end credit scene, it brought a lot of like, I guess I want to say it brought a lot of emotions to it because the way that they set it up, and I don't know if there's any spoilers, but
Yeah, we can go into spoilers. So yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So at the end, Kingpin sees that there is no clear frontrunner for mayor, and immediately, as soon as I saw that, there was a big rush of emotions because that's how the first game was. It was like he was kind of like super in charge, the mayor, and Spider-Man was trying to stop him because he was dabbling in, his dirty work. But to see that they brought that to the big screen kind of gives me the feeling that now there's going to be kind of like low, like city level crime, and he's going to be the top of it all.
Yeah, so there have been, I mean, there have been a ton of rumors going around about where they are planning to take the show from here. And there were a ton of rumors before the show even aired about where they were planning to take it. One of those rumors is Devil's Reign. So I don't know if you read the Devil's Reign run. It's from like, I don't know, 3 years ago maybe. So it started in the Daredevil series of comics, and it's kind of like the continuation of that story, because Daredevil is always, it's Daredevil versus Kingpin, and I actually have a bunch of the collected editions of this behind me here on my
Nice.
bookshelf, but Devil's Reign is basically a big crossover event where Kingpin becomes mayor of New York City and he outlaws vigilantism. And he has his own version of the Thunderbolts that is like Rhino and U.S. Agent and the female Venom. I can't remember her name offhand, but she's like purple.
I know who you're talking about. I
Yeah,
can't think of her name offhand either.
her and a few others. And they are all hunting vigilantes. And it's now, I mean, I guess technically vigilantism is always illegal, but they are like actively fighting it. So the police are out there actively hunting heroes. They're doing a ton, and it's a really cool crossover event because you got the Fantastic Four in there, you got Spider-Man, you got Daredevil, you've got Elektra. Elektra at this point in the comics is Daredevil, so there's two Daredevils,
Okay.
and her run is pretty cool there too. So there's a ton of that, and it's a really cool series where like I think like part of the Fantastic Four is put in jail. Like a bunch of heroes are put in jail. Luke Cage is put in jail, and it's all about them trying to overcome and figure out exactly what is going on here. And I mean, what you end up figuring out, and I don't mind spoiling this for you because you probably won't read it, but and it's not like a huge part of the story. It kind of is, but they're not going to do this. But they had Purple Man. He had Purple Man prisoner,
Huh.
and he was using his power. Like I believe it was something along the lines of like his staff had like it was like gathering the power from Purple Man into his staff, so he was able to get everybody to do his bidding, sort of. And that
Mm,
was like one of his main powers that he had there. And so I mean, obviously we know that Jessica Jones is part of this universe now,
yep.
so they're not going to use Purple Man because they
Which they
already
should
used him
have.
in Jessica Jones. Yeah, unless they come up with a way to bring him back, or I mean, I think they got Purple Man's son in the comics, so. But I don't think the inclusion of him in the story would make it that big of a spoiler. I assume they would probably come out with it fairly quickly, or
Yeah,
maybe
it's
not. I
funny.
just
Like
ruined it for everybody. Who knows?
when it's funny you mentioned that whole story because it seems that what I think Disney is trying to do is that they're trying to like putting Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and all the Netflix shows as canon to the MCU. It seems like they're really pushing in that direction,
Yeah,
and I really can't wait to see another 6 minute one shot fight with Echo and Daredevil. That was the best.
yeah,
So
that was an awesome scene,
yeah,
and they threw it in the first episode to let everybody know, like, hey, this is what we're going for. This is our aesthetic here, and so that everybody kind of knew, like, okay, let's do this.
yep. So it's good to see that they're bringing those characters in a more like serious sense instead of like how it was in She-Hulk. She-Hulk was very like a playful Daredevil, like he was kind of like on vacation almost,
Yeah,
and
right.
he needed time away. I think they really played on the outfit, like oh this is my alternate costume. But seeing him and Echo, it was like he did not stick with that outfit. He stuck with his old school red outfit. So
Yeah, and they've said that in Daredevil Born Again, they're going to use like a brighter red outfit.
I'm super excited for that. I can't wait.
Yeah. What else? What did you think of the show? What any highlights for you in there?
So what overall, if I had to rate it from 1 to 10, it definitely gets a 10 in my eyes. I feel that show really hit the point on what they were really trying to do. Focusing on the deaf community and focusing on the Native American community. I really feel that they really dug down and really hit it on the nose with that one. So I was really pleased to see that. Um,
Yeah,
in terms
yeah, I agree.
in terms of the story, like I didn't really know about Echo. The only time I saw Echo was in Hawkeye. So it was really good to see her character like spotlighted and really told because it was interesting. Like I really didn't know she was Native American until I watched the show, and I was like, oh, I thought I had no idea, but it was really good. The action was like as soon as it started, it was just like people getting beat up. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm for this 100%. And they really hit it on the nose with this one.
Yeah, so I can say that I don't. You can't be blamed for not knowing the character because she's only been around since 1999. So we
Hmm.
got 25 years with this character. But yeah, she's Cheyenne, and what's interesting is her powers. They kind of shifted them from what they are in the comics. So in the comics, one of her big things is her. She's kind of got like that same thing with the who's the character that was in Black Widow? The bad guy that can mimic everybody's abilities.
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster, yes. So one of Echo's abilities is she's got like photographic reflexes they call them, where she's able to basically mimic anybody's like martial arts or anything like that, and so she becomes a master hand to hand combat martial artist, and also she's got I think she ends up being like she's got like Olympic level athletic abilities because of her ability to mimic all of these things, and like she even like plays music and everything in there. And so they didn't focus on that in the show like whatsoever, but they did give her like this new set of abilities that I wasn't exactly clear on what they are. You know what I mean?
It
Like what
seemed
her
that it like seemed that they were trying to give her a power where she pulled it from her ancestors.
yeah, but like what it but what like what the power is and what the limitations are of it. I really have
They
no
didn't really
idea.
explain. I hope they do explain it like in later shows, and I'm hoping to God that they put her in the Young Avengers because we know down the line that's gonna happen.
Well, you know, and they could I don't know, they could explain this as mutation.
Hmm. And that would just make her a mutant.
Yeah. Yeah, and I keep getting the vibe that like, you know, with Ms. Marvel being a mutant and if she's a mutant and spoiler alert for the Marvels, I haven't even seen it yet, but like I know that Beast is in it.
He is.
So they're introducing more and more, and then next year's Deadpool 3, which is going to take place in it's part of Marvel now, part of Marvel Studios now. So I think after they get through the whole multiverse saga, I think the next saga is going to be the mutant saga.
Which would be awesome because then we'll really get to see it done in a different light.
Yeah, and I hope they really kill it with that. You know, because I mean, the X Men are awesome. They're my favorite part of Marvel. So seeing all of them, and you know, I think that I get the feeling that they're going to bring a lot of them in during this Secret Wars thing, as long as it's still
Hmm.
the plan to do that.
Yep.
So we'll see. But yeah, so I mean, I'm with you. I really like the show. I don't think I'd give it a 10, but I'd give it probably like an 8. It was
I
really good.
It was really good.
I think it's done extremely well, but it also I think there is in many cases like room for improvement. You
Hmm.
know, in the way of I don't know, like the writing and acting. But I did really enjoy the story. I did really enjoy them tying it back to her family and her lineage, and the story that they told over the course of that between like everything that happens with her and her mom and her grandma and her cousin, like everything about that was told really well, and like it might even brought tears to my eyes in that final episode. But
It
that's no
did.
surprise.
The whole time, once they showed her ancestors, it was like I was getting a lot of Kahori vibes.
Yeah, so I haven't seen that episode of What If yet, but it is cool that they're introducing more and more of these Native American characters, and like you said, they're introducing more deaf characters. So I think you know it's great to see more deaf representation in these movies. I just watched a movie last night called The Jinn about a evil genie and the kid that's in it. The actor is not mute in real life, but the kid there was. So he's using sign language through the whole movie. The
Hmm.
character was, anyways.
I'm about
But
to
they had
check
like a
that out.
flashback scene where he talks. So unless they did like a voiceover for it, which is possible,
Yeah.
um, he wasn't. But then you got like A Quiet Place and all of that. So it's good to see more and more of these movies leaning into it. More movies leaning into using the original language for things. So
Yep.
embracing the subtitles. Because I think that it is almost like a an entirely different form of expression that we've never seen. Seeing how somebody acts while doing sign language. It's not something that there are many people out there that have literally never seen that in a movie before. So
Yeah.
it's cool seeing like a new form of expression in these movies with people using sign language and acting at the same time. So I
And I'm
really
sure that
really
it's
dug that.
I'm sure it's inspiring to like a lot of like younger children who are going kind of through the same thing to see that there's a hero
Hundred
that
percent,
actually
and to see
represents
that
them.
to be an actor is an achievable goal.
Yeah.
This is actually the woman who plays Echo. This is her first acting role.
I did see that. They
That's
I
crazy.
saw that they made it really well. Like I read an article that when she first got on set the first day, like a lot of the staff had to went and took ASL classes so they could communicate with her on her first day. And she was telling that like I think it was Jimmy Fallon that like it was like the most welcoming thing that she's ever had because everybody took the time out to, kind of like communicate with her and be at the same level that she's at.
Yeah,
And I think that was a really nice story to hear. Like, it wasn't like you just kind of like brought her on and, you're struggling. Like, you took the time out to make her feel welcome. And that was one thing I did like about that.
well, and I think with you and me living in a city that has a massive deaf community, I think seeing more of this in the mainstream is really great for them. And I mean, you've worked at companies that had entire departments of people that were deaf,
Hmm.
and I know interpreters, sign language interpreters, and so it's you know it hits a little close to home, because we know and work with so many people with this.
Yeah, speaking of close to home and back to the Kahori character, I also saw that I think it was the Rochester Science Center. Uh, in preparation for making that What If episode, Disney came over to the Science Center, learned more about that Native American tribe, and used what they learned to integrate it into that episode to make it more authentic. And
Nice, that's
the
awesome.
museum ended up telling them after the episode aired, and I think that's wonderful. Like you're
Yeah,
taking time out to learn these things instead of trying to guess or see what you see on the internet. You're putting yourself in this culture, trying to understand this culture, and to me, like if you can understand it, it's easier to put it on paper. It's easy to act out. It's easy to interpret in your own eyes. So I think that was another kudos and brownie points for Disney for that one.
do you know sign language?
I do not, but I need to learn. There's a couple people at my job who are deaf, so I definitely need to learn.
Yeah.
I know the basics. Like I know
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how we both said that at the same time. But yeah, so I mean, all of that is great. I think I might watch that What If episode tonight.
It's pretty good. But I do like her swag though. She had impeccable swag. And you'll see what I'm talking about when you see it. Like she did her thing, she learned, did her thing again, and then she was like, you know what? I think I want more. Went to the source. Swag was too much. Couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I've heard that episode specifically, a lot of people are talking about. I watched the first two of season two so far, and they were fine. They didn't like light my world on fire or anything. Um, you know, they were okay. What's weird to me is like I wish, and it's almost like the nature of the show. Like I wish the stories were more like their own stories and didn't rely on so many like outside things. or like
Yeah.
rely on the stories we've already been told. Like, I mean, you take the season 1 episode, for example, where you've got Captain Carter, which I think Captain Carter is an awesome character. Like, that whole episode is almost like the Captain America First Avenger movie, but with her instead of him. And so, like, a bunch of it, you're just like, oh, all right, yeah, this is the scene. Yeah, I get it.
And I think
And
that's
like,
what people like, you know? People love
I,
that.
you
Like,
know, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people complain about that too.
really?
Yeah, but it's like almost like it's like the nature of what if, because like you've got to have, you can only have so much originality. I did like the episode with um the one that was like it was like a detective story with what's her
Nebula.
name, Nebula, on like the Nova Corps. That was a pretty cool episode. I almost would like to see, like, I almost feel like it would have been like a better movie.
Hmm.
Like, oh, throw a bunch of money behind this Blade Runner style and do a whole an actual noir story here.
It was
So that
definitely
was cool.
cyberpunk for real.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that was cool, and that was an original story with like an original style, and then you've got Howard the Duck in there, and I do explain to Sarah who Howard the Duck is, and like I showed her the old trailer for the '80s movie, and she's like, "This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen." And I was like, "Yeah, it
So
is
weird.
weird." I was
Hmm.
like, "I watched this movie as a kid," and she's like, "Well, that's what's wrong with you."
I could say
But
my
yeah,
favorite
so
episode was probably that one too.
which one?
Like, it was one of my favorite ones, the Nebula one.
Yeah, yeah, and they
I
got a
al-
lot of the voice actors back for it too. So
yeah, I did see that. The one that I really enjoyed was the um Iron Man going to Sakaar.
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
When you get to that one, all I can say is when you see it, it's like by the end of the episode, I was like, if they would have made that into a live action movie, I can see that actually happening.
Is Beta Ray Bill in it?
No, I don't think he is.
That's too bad. That's a character I really want them to introduce.
Hmm.
My buddy Dan Carter, that's also been on the show a few times. He is waiting and begging for Beta Ray Bill to join the MCU. He's a big fan of him.
I feel like he'll come around Secret Wars time.
I hope so. He's got a really cool story. He's got a really cool background. They did a comic arc of his a few years ago that takes place in like this thing is like super metal. You've got the guy that that took Idris Elba's place in Ragnarok. He is a character in it, and they took the inspiration for this new version of the character directly from that movie.
Oh wow.
And so like they meet him in the underworld where like he's begging because he's dead in the comics too.
Hmm.
But they meet him down there, and he like leads them on like a ship through like the fiery waters of the underworld. It's like the most metal comic ever. It was super awesome. But I don't even remember where I was going with that. Long story short, Beta Ray Bill, bring him in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, watch that episode. You'll definitely get Jason Statham Death Race vibes. For
Oh,
real.
nice! I love Death Race. I saw the
Hmm.
Beekeeper last week.
I still have to go see that.
It was actually so. I really actually kind of loved it. Not to navigate too far off of the Marvel conversation, but like it was just it's like it was awesome. So it's just like non-stop like revenge thriller, non-stop Jason Statham just kicking ass.
Sounds like Crank.
And yeah, it's not that far off from Crank, except not as like weird, like all these like
Mm,
that has a lot of like bonkers characters in it. This has
yeah.
a couple out there characters, but nobody like Crank level. But it's like the the interesting thing about it, and like I'll tell you this because it seems like you want to see it, but I think it doesn't ruin the movie whatsoever. As you watch it, like you're just like there is no way. Like they've built this character up immediately in this movie. There is no way they are going to introduce a character that is going to be able to take him down. Like
Oh,
at no point during the
oh
movie
yeah.
does it even seem like realistic. Like it's like like he's going to completely just annihilate everybody you put up against him. And
That's so funny.
at no point in the movie are you even like this dude. Oh, he might lose now. No, not at any point do you think that.
Oh man, I mean, I haven't seen Jason Statham on the movie scene in a while, especially for an action movie. So
Yeah,
well deserved.
yeah. It's I enjoyed it, and it's for me. It kind of lines up with like Death Sentence and like those types of revenge thrillers. I really enjoyed it. I saw it with Sarah and my mom, and everybody loved it. So all three of us
Nice.
loved it. So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna catch that in the theater soon.
check it out.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I guess to wrap up the Echo topic, we both like it. Everything's good. The it leads into Dare or Kingpin becoming inspired to become mayor, and up next we have Daredevil Born Again. So this has been announced. They began shooting, and eventually they shot like what was it, like 8 episodes or something, and fired the entire staff because they didn't like what they saw in these episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just gonna scrap this whole thing and start all over again, which is, I'm telling you, unheard of for a
Never
TV
heard of
show for
that.
them to do that. Like I've never heard of them being like, this is really bad. We are literally just gonna scrap this whole thing. You all can go home, and we're just gonna start all over again.
Yep. And then I think I read something. Vincent D'Onofrio. He was
D'Onofrio,
saying, how you say his last name?
D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio. That D is in there somewhere. But anyways, he was saying that they decided to do that after. No, it was like before, like they said that the Netflix shows were canon. So he was like, well, that didn't happen after they like did that, or that wasn't the cause why that happened. But he did say that the new episodes that they're reshooting is going to start soon, and they're really focusing like on the like taking the inspiration from the Netflix show and gonna run with that. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh, okay.
yeah, I read that same thing. It seems like basically what happened is they brought in these writers, and everybody that was running this show was basically like, okay, I don't want to be connected to the Daredevil Netflix stuff, so we're not going to consider that or any of the Defenders saga canon. And after they fired everybody, Marvel was basically like, maybe that wasn't the best decision, and went back to the drawing board, and we're like, well, why throw away everything that we've done up until this point? Plus, by that point, they've seen all the discourse online. I'm telling you,
Hmm.
I follow the Daredevil Reddit community, and it was split half and half into people like that were gung ho that this is definitely canon, and gung ho that it was not canon. And I was in the camp that I didn't think it was canon because they went out of their way to say, or to, like, if you look at they separated it from the MCU timeline, and now they've basically said, the producers, Vincent D'Onofrio, everybody, they're like, yeah, this wasn't canon, and now it is. They reevaluated that decision, and that's why it's been inserted into the MCU timeline on Disney Plus and all that. So yeah, you're exactly right that as part of the decision to create this new version, they're like, let's just connect all this back to the Netflix universe that we built up. They've even got some of the people working from that show on this show, and so I'm really looking forward to it.
And they're bringing back Foggy and
And Karen Page,
the Karen Page.
yeah, I sent that article over to you the other day and was like, "Did you see this?" And it was the one where apparently in the other script in the first episode, Karen and Foggy were going to be killed off screen,
Yep.
not to be invited back, and now apparently they're going to be in this season. I don't think that either one of those facts has been confirmed by Marvel Studios, but it's like a big, big rumor out there that a lot of people are talking about, and that decision blows my mind that they would do
Hmm.
that. Like
It
that
was.
just
I
shows
want to
all
see
these
them again.
decisions.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
love to
they
see
were.
them again in the show because I mean they made the Daredevil show.
Yeah, especially Karen Page. I mean, she was awesome in those, and then she was even in Punisher,
Hmm.
and yeah, she was great. I wouldn't see like it shows decisions like that like show such a like a disrespect for some of this stuff. You know, like I guarantee there was a writer or somebody out there with an axe to grind for those characters that didn't like them or whatever. And like it reminded me of like the back in the '90s when they made Aliens 3
Hmm.
and they killed Hicks and Newt. In the first 5 minutes, neither of the original actors brought back. Might as well be off screen. But it came out later that the writer hated Newt in the movie Aliens and made it his mission to kill her for this third movie and not have her be a character. And that to me disqualifies you from making the script. You know,
Yeah.
like if I was Kevin Feige and the first thing the writer said to me was like, "All right, so we're gonna reference in the first episode that Karen and Feige died in a I don't know got killed by some thugs in the street or whatever,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna show it." Like to me, you're not getting to make any episodes. Like
Nope.
that's the end right there. Like,
That's like saying Daredevil got his vision again.
yeah, right. Like, so the first thing we're gonna do is 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 we're gonna get rid of the suit. We're gonna get rid of his powers, and he's not gonna fight anymore. And that's gonna go on for the first 10 episodes.
Wait for season two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like no, you got. This is they said it was supposed to be like a 25 episode season or something too. Like you got you got to make the best of all those episodes. You know,
Oh
it's
yeah, I think they said was it
like
25 or
half a year,
18? Because they
something
said
like that.
it was supposed to be the longest running MCU show that they've made. I
Yeah,
remember
which
that was like
what
something
is
they
the
said.
longest one right now? Is it WandaVision and like 10 episodes or something?
Yeah, WandaVision had 10. I want to say Loki had 10 too for each season. So yeah, there's a couple shows that had 10 episodes, but
Yeah,
this one's gonna have like 18 to 25. It looks like
WandaVision had 9.
had 9. You know what? If they did make a 10th episode for that, there should have been an epic battle between um, Scarlet Witch and Spectrum.
That'd have been cool.
Would have been cool.
She-Hulk had 9.
She-Hulk had 9 too. So, well,
Hmm.
what's going on with the 10 episodes? Like, is it over budget?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, She-Hulk went over budget already. Like, they don't even know if they're making a season 2.
Yeah, I read that as well. That they were like, yeah, I don't the Tatiana Maslany or I'm probably saying her name wrong, but yeah, she came out and was like, yeah, the season costs like $250 million to make, and I think the studio heads were like, nah, we're good.
Now, you know where a million of that came from? Megan Thee Stallion.
I mean, yeah, I have to imagine that they probably spent a whole bunch of money to put her on there. They had a lot of CGI in that show, and I had read an interview with the showrunner who had basically said like that she hadn't worked with CGI on that scale before. And
Mm.
so a lot of the decisions that were made in designing the scenes and designing, you know, the green version of She-Hulk in so many of those scenes, she's like, I wouldn't revolve so much of the show around that in retrospect.
Mm.
So that was probably a big part of it. And I think it went through reshoots too.
Oh, yeah, the show was okay. I like that show too. So,
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay. I definitely think that there was room for improvement on that one as well.
most definitely.
One thing that they said, like one of the big things that's come out of this whole deal, is that with so many of these shows failing, and like finishing it off with Secret Invasion that got completely torn to shreds in reviews, and then them firing the whole Daredevil staff. One of the things that come out was that they haven't been running these shows like with the traditional way that you run shows with like a writer's room and a showrunner and like like with a defined hierarchy of the show. And apparently a number of these shows have had power struggles because of it. And I don't know if Loki is one of those cases, but I do know that the woman who spearheaded the entire first season left after the first season. So it wouldn't
Huh.
surprise me if there was some if she was just like, no, I'm not doing this. This is too much. But I
Yeah.
do know that She-Hulk was called out as one of them too. That the woman that was in the news as being the leader of that whole thing was not the one who was supposed to be. There was a power struggle in the background of that show,
Huh.
and that's why I guess the same thing happened with Secret Invasion, and you don't notice it as much with She-Hulk, but in Secret Invasion, you kind of struggle to tell like what is this show about, like what is the
Yep.
arc that they're trying to get through here, and apparently there were two different people on that show fighting to be the showrunner, so to speak, but they never defined that. The
Mm.
corporate heads didn't. And so you got two people, and one of them eventually wins, but in the end, they didn't have. I mean, you spend a whole season fighting for power. You lose sight of telling a cohesive story. So there's a lot of pieces of that story that I think didn't come off the way it should have. And I mean,
That story could
Maria
have been
Hill.
so good, man. It could
They
have
did
been
Maria Hill
so
so
good.
dirty in that show.
Yeah, right? Like it was just like I didn't expect her to die in that show so soon and the way she did. It was kind of like almost forced. Like, okay, we're sitting there. How are we gonna get rid of Maria Hill? Oh, we're
Right.
just gonna have another copy of Nick Fury kill her, which happens to be a scroll.
And
And it's just
this
like,
was supposed to be like her big time to shine,
mm-hmm,
because she's never been fully utilized to the like level that Colby Smulders should be. And she's a good actress, and she never got utilized. And so for them to kill her like that and still never utilize her, it's just like, come on, guys. And
yeah,
then they don't even have like a whole. They don't like you never get to feel the full impact of that either.
no. And it was like she was there and then she was gone.
Yeah,
And it was just like now, like you have Nick Fury. Nick Fury in the show looked like he was so run down and just tired of what was happening. Like he just wanted it to be over because I mean he's was dating one of them or he's married to one of them, which
it's actually.
that threw me for
I
a
think
loop.
that's actually just the way that Samuel L. Jackson felt while making the show.
Oh, probably because I'm just like
He's
he
just
just
like,
looks like
oh my
he's
god, I'm just
done.
so tired of this. But like you've
Yeah.
seen the Marvels, right?
Hmm.
They don't reference Secret Invasion whatsoever, right? And the Marvels
Uh.
starts like 5 minutes after Secret Invasion.
Yeah, so they the way they kind of mention it is basically just kind of showing what he's at. Like it starts off he's in the huge spaceship. What did they call it? They called it I can't remember what they
Saber.
called Saber. He's in there and that's when everything starts happening. Like with Miss Marvel being outside in space cuz he was working with um Spectrum touching the border of like where they do the jump points for each galaxy. But that was about it. And then
Yeah.
after like you were only able to tell the connection from Secret Invasion from that. Other than that, no mention.
Yeah, and I think that's been a big weakness of the MCU up until this point is that like from what I understand, you talk about like WandaVision and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I mean, I'll say I loved both of those
Hmm.
for what they were, but those two storylines should be connected. They should
Yeah,
be, But the people that made Doctor Strange were like, we had no idea what was happening in WandaVision. In order to be able to follow that up, we didn't know that storyline existed.
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I mean, they only
like
had PR for it for like 6 months before the show came out.
I know, and so it like I think that figuring out how to connect those dots a little bit better, I think they need to be better about. But I guess the good news of that is that Marvel realizes that they have an issue, and going into next year, all they've got is Deadpool 3. That's the only
Hmm.
thing they're releasing all of next year.
Now I heard some crazy rumors about that show, and obviously they're rumors. Can't really believe all of them, but one rumor I did hear about that show is that it's going to continue right where Deadpool 2 left off, with Cable, Deadpool. I think Domino was there too, and they're going to use that last jump point that Cable had with his little thing to get somewhere. But they end up traveling to another universe, which then that's where they see Wolverine.
I really hope that they bring Domino back because that actress, Zazie Beetz,
She's so
love her.
good. Hmm.
She's so good. She's great in Bullet Train. She's
Hmm.
great in Atlanta. She's
So
great
great in
in The
Atlanta.
Joker. She's great in. Wasn't she in The Harder They Fall?
I did not see that yet.
You haven't seen that?
Mm-mm. I got to see it.
Super,
Actually, it's on my
super
list.
good.
So
Super good. Yeah, watch that.
yeah, I'm definitely going to.
So she's
But
great in
yeah,
all those, and yeah, I really hope they bring her back because I think she's great as Domino, and I would love to see her get more than just Deadpool 2 to do that.
yeah. And then I also heard that somehow they're going to end up in the TVA and they're going to have to fight their way through the TVA,
That would be cool.
which I think will be
I have
really
also
cool.
heard that the TVA would be involved.
And I wonder if they're going to start hopping universes. Are we going to see Loki again? Because as far as we know, Loki is just sitting up there holding all these timelines together. Is he going
Yeah,
to end up?
I think that Loki is going to be. I don't think we're going to see him again until Secret Wars,
I can't wait for that.
and I think that is the point where Thor sees that he's been the one that's been holding everything together up until this point, and they'll have a moment where Thor is like proud of him,
Hmm.
and it'll be super emotional,
I'm probably going to
and
cry.
yep, we'll both cry,
Hmm.
and I think that I mean maybe neither one of them makes it out of that movie,
Mm-mm. Well, they say they
but
were
I bet
coming out with a
Loki
new
doesn't.
Thor movie.
We'll see.
Yeah. Who's he going to hang out with? Love?
I mean that's it. The actress is his daughter, so maybe.
That's which I
Um,
just found. I was like, wow, good for them.
the my only thing is that like I wish that we got more Thor that's like he is in the comics.
Hmm.
Because really, they really lean into that Norse mythology into the comics, and they haven't done that at all in the movie. So I would really love one that does that.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, the end of Chris Hemsworth run as Thor doesn't mean anything,
No,
and the comics are always there, so it is what it is.
as long as you
I'm
can
sure we'll
wield
see
the hammer.
5 more actors
Hmm.
play Thor
You
before all
might
is
see
said
it in
and
Secret
done.
Wars.
I might. You never know. Maybe we'll see all the other Hemsworth brothers playing him in Secret Wars.
Oh yeah,
Luke and whoever
Liam.
the other one is. Liam, yeah.
Liam. What movie was he in? He was in that Red Dawn. Was he in Red Dawn? Was it Red Dawn?
Chris Hemsworth is in Red Dawn.
Chris Hemsworth is in Red Dawn.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that movie again.
Liam Hemsworth was in the Hunger Game movies
Yes, there we go.
and the Expendables too.
Which the Expendables not bad.
Yeah, I really liked Expendables too. He was good in that. Van Damme was good in that.
Hmm.
And Luke Hemsworth was in Westworld.
Westworld. I hear that's a good show too.
Yeah, I loved Westworld. I only watched the first 2 seasons, but
Oh, nice. How many
those
seasons?
were good. What's
Like,
that?
how many seasons?
3 or 4?
Okay,
I think 3,
that's a
maybe.
weekend.
It's like the thing with Westworld is they took it off of HBO Max now. So unless like I buy all of them on Blu-ray, which I don't even know if you can, but like that's one of those shows that like when it's taken off streaming, like it aired on streaming, like
That's it.
can't watch that anymore. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
They should have left it.
Yep. So yeah. So we've got the Defenders saga officially part of the MCU canon right now. Now that that's part of it? What are you looking forward to most with that being part of the MCU now?
I'm really looking to see like down to street fighting level basics. With Kingpin's already there, so and Daredevil's already there. So I don't think personally that Daredevil can fight Kingpin alone. He needs a team. And I think we're gonna like Jessica Jones is supposed to be in there, and I think the first person he taps on is Jessica Jones. And I want to see Luke Cage back. Maybe not Iron Fist so much because you know, that was a squash. But Luke
Well,
Cage
I
and
will
Jessica
say
Jones and the Punisher.
Jessica Henwick is Iron Fist now.
Oh yes.
So I would love to see her come back.
Okay. Yep. Yep. And I want to see all of them integrated with the new Spider-Man
Yeah.
because that they were talk like there's a lot of talks about that movie, and the way they're making it sound right now is that we're gonna see a lot of like down to the basic street level fighting. Like he again, nobody remembers him, um
Yeah.
so I think we're gonna see him probably fighting alongside the Defenders too against Kingpin.
Yep.
What I did read today though is that that movie is also going to introduce a character who has not been live actioned yet.
Oh, who
So
do you think
along
it'll be?
Kingpin, to me, I think it's going to be the Spot.
And you think they would do that after he was just in
I think
uh,
personally because at some point they have to
Across the
live
Universe,
action, yeah,
across the
and they
Spider
have to,
Verse?
and they have to live action Miles Morales. So what's a better way to bring Spot as live action than bring him too? Just
Let's
just a
see.
guess.
Could be Spot. Um, I'm going to say I don't think it will be.
Probably not. I wanted to.
just because like they got Across the Universe part 1 and 2 that he's in, and he's a big part of that. So it would seem strange to me that they would do that. But it could be Scorpion.
Scorpion.
They've already introduced, well, and I guess that's the thing, is they've already introduced the character
hmm
without him being Scorpion yet.
And the Shocker.
Yeah, that was kind of a waste, but yes, they did.
Such a waste because they could have really built on that character for real. Actually, I would have much rather seen him in the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Mr. Negative,
One of my favorite characters.
that's who they should bring. They should bring Mr.
hmm
Negative. And
hmm
you know who they should have play him?
Cool.
Steven Yeun,
Yes.
because he just backed out of Sentry and said it was scheduling conflict, and he's not going to be, but he still wants to do a Marvel movie. That's who he should be.
I think it should either be him or it should be um the Asian individual who plays a lawyer in Law and Order. That's for you. I can't think of the actor's name right now, but he's pretty good.
I don't watch FC or SVU, so I have no idea.
I'll have to send you his name later.
Okay. Um. Yeah. So I think Jessica Henwick coming back would be awesome for this though, because she was the best part of Iron Fist in my opinion,
hmm
and her career has done very well since then. She was probably the best part of the new Matrix movie, which I hated, but she was probably the best part of it. And she was awesome in it. She's done a bunch of other stuff that's been pretty cool. And so I would like to see her. And what's interesting is that when they were doing um, the Ten Rings movie,
hmm
they offered the role of his sister, Shang-Chi's sister, but they offered the role to Jessica Henwick, but they told her, they were like, if you take this, your role in Iron Fist is done. Like, and so she was like, all right, well, I don't want to do that, because she liked that role. She really enjoyed it, and she wanted to hold out hope that, like, the on one hand, yes, you can be this cool assassin, side character basically,
Yeah.
or she could hold out hope that she goes back to this character that is one of the ones that got her famous in the first place, that she has done a ton of work in already and worked her way up to being that big hero, Iron Fist. So she was like, no, I'll just hold out hope that you go back to those shows eventually. And now they are.
Which I'm
So
happy.
absolutely. So I would love to see her come in and them to really throw some budget and some choreography and writing behind her character. So, looking forward to that.
Me too. The Defenders was actually a good series. I heard a lot of negative things about it, but I thought it was well written and well told. Their
I like
story,
the
at least.
Defenders. It's like one of those things that's like, oh, well, there's certainly room for improvement here as well.
Yeah,
But I liked it. I was it that one where they had Wu-Tang Clan playing when like Luke Cage goes into the big building?
I started beating people up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool.
There was a really good scene in the Defenders where they were all there, and then I think it was a one shot too, but they were all fighting at the same time. I think it was like in a conference room, and they were just
Oh yeah.
all beating each other up and kicking people through walls and everything, and it was like keep on switching from each character. And I think that was probably one of the better scenes in that show, because you really
Yeah.
got to see like the full potential of the Defenders. So
Yeah.
I hope they really integrate them like in future projects and
I'll tell
whatnot.
you, Echo inspired me to start watching those again. I never finished Punisher season 2, so I like literally restarted Punisher season 2 a couple nights ago. And in the
Nice.
first episode, there's like a bar fight where did you ever watch the Punisher show?
I did, but I can't remember. It was so long ago.
In the first episode, there's a bar fight, and it is so tense. And Frank Castle, John Bernthal in this show, man, he just it's so good. He just beats everybody up, and he was awesome as Frank Castle. He was the best part of season 2 of Daredevil. He
Hmm.
was that prison fight scene that he is in. That fight is so cool, out of this world stuff.
You're gonna make me have to start it again.
I know, right? And I was talking to Dan the other day, and I'm like, have you watched Daredevil season 3 yet? And he still hasn't. And Daredevil season 3 is my favorite season.
That's one with Electro.
Yeah, I believe she's in there. Is she in there?
I think so, because I think he's like fighting her, and then every time they like get close to each other, it's like they want to like love on each other.
I think that was season 2. Or was that? No, I think that was. No, that was Defenders, wasn't it? Or was that
I feel
season
like she was
2?
in. I feel like
I
she
don't
was
think she was
in
in season 3.
Daredevil. Now you're gonna make me rewatch it.
Got to rewatch it. That's the only
Yeah.
the only way to resolve this. In season 3, like Kingpin's like running the whole city, and there's the whole thing with the FBI agent that he's like blackmailing through the whole season, and it was honestly great stuff. One of the things I saw is that they're recasting Vanessa. That's disappointing. I really like that actress.
That's great. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They just need to stick with the. They should just stick with the regular actors
Hmm.
that were in the Netflix show, because they're the ones who made the show. You recast. It's
Maybe they are gonna switch that up now that they're going back to the same canon.
yeah.
That would be cool. I really
Speaking,
like the woman is Vanessa.
yeah.
Vanessa.
Speaking of recasting, I hope they do something with this Kang situation.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
I would love to
yeah.
see
That's a
Kang.
that's a whole thing, isn't it?
Hmm. I would love to
What's
see
your
Kang,
What's your
but
choice? Who are they putting in replacement? Who are they going to replace Jonathan Majors with?
I don't know
If it's up to
who.
you,
What's this? John Boyega?
he's one of the names I've seen out there. A lot of people are saying like John Boyega would be perfect for it, but
Hmm.
he probably won't do it
He
because
said
of
he
like
wasn't
his
going to do it.
experience with Star Wars.
He said he wasn't going to do it. He said, I think he put it like, if it was the last thing on earth, I wouldn't do it. Like, he was like a hard no. Like, I was like, oh,
I am telling you, he hated his experience making the Star Wars movies, and that's what it all comes down to.
yeah, that's Disney for you. That's Disney for you. But if they stick with the Kang story, I would love it. But if they go in a different direction and want to go with the Doctor Doom story a little early, then
Seems like
I
they're going
love
to
it
stick
too.
with the Kang story.
Unless like they don't show his face, like because you know how he usually has the mask over his face.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could do that. I don't know. I haven't heard any inklings of who they're trying to recast.
I've heard
Um,
Coleman Domingo's name out there a few times.
yeah. Who's the
You know
other?
him?
Who's? I do know him. Who's the other person? The one that was in Tenet.
John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son.
Oh snap! I didn't know they were related. Yes, he was also. I saw his name pop up too.
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't like him for it. I could go for Coleman Domingo. I saw the kid that from Stranger Things. I saw him too, but I really liked. In the last episode you were on, you brought up him being Miles Morales, and I like him for that better
I like him for
than
Miles Morales.
Kang.
Hmm.
The cool thing about Kang is that you can literally put anybody in this role,
Hmm.
and because like in the comics, you see him at every age, so you could have him be Caleb.
Older.
What's his name? Is it Caleb McLaughlin
Kelly
or something?
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin. Yeah,
Hmm.
so you could have him as the child version. You could have John David Washington as the middle age version. You could you could even have Denzel as the older version because you see him through his whole life. He's always fighting versions of himself too.
Yeah.
You could also do the thing with I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus with it was Heath Ledger's last role, and when he passed away midway through filmmaking, all they had left was like this dream realm, and so they replaced him with a series of actors, not one actor. So it's Colin Farrell, Johnny Depp, Jude Law. I feel like I'm missing one, but like so you could do something like that where it's not one character, just every time you keep seeing different people pop up.
Yeah.
Could do something like
That
that.
would be nice too. Yeah. I
Um,
just can't wait for King Dynasty and Secret Wars. I cannot wait.
yeah, I did see that they were thinking of not calling it the Kang Dynasty anymore
Yeah, it
and
was
just
like
calling.
Secret Wars Part One and Two. I saw
Yeah, I think I saw like just Avengers 5 and 6 or whatever,
five and
um,
six. That's so
or
boring.
6 and 7 or whatever it is. I have no idea, but
We don't know what number
um,
we are.
yeah, no idea. You know whose name I did see out there is Lakeith Stanfield.
I saw that too, but I don't think he is. I don't think this type of role is for his demeanor. Like,
No, me neither.
I don't think it fits him. And like, even his stature doesn't give me Kang vibes.
Yeah, so my thing, so Lakeith Stanfield is one of my favorite actors working today. But
Same.
with that being said, I don't like him for this role.
Mm-mm.
He, I like him as an actor because he chooses such out there roles. I just watched him in this Apple TV Plus series, The Changeling. He was in The Harder They Fall. He's in the Book of Clarence that's out right now that I hear is very good. It's all like all these out there roles that you
Hmm.
just and he really really nails them. He was also in Atlanta.
Also in
Awesome. He was
Atlanta,
so good in Atlanta.
sure
That whole show
was.
is good. I got to finish that.
He was in was Sorry to Bother You,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
which that
movie
was a
is
pretty funny.
ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like it reminded me of me when back in the early days working at a call center, being like,
Yeah, yeah, me
"Hello,
too.
sir, how you doing today?"
Yeah, yeah. And what's funny too is I know a lot of people that like even like went so far as to change their name when they were working there, and so like changing your voice, changing your name, like it's funny stuff.
So funny.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like I don't think he's right for the Kang role specifically.
Mm-mm.
Um, I mean, following Loki season 2, you could just have the woman who plays Ravonna,
Hmm.
Gugu Mbatha-Raw. So you could have her fill that role.
Which I did hear a rumor that they thought about that because I mean, in the show, like they were kind of to like they were almost alluding to like that Ravonna Renslayer was kind of another variant of him. But then when you actually watched it, again. Like I watched it twice because it didn't make any sense to me at first. I was like, why bring her here? What are you bringing her here for? Like, what do you have to tell her, Miss Minutes? Why is she not going to be happy on what Kang is about to tell her? And I think with that, they were alluding to like you are low key a variant, and just like how Sylvie is to Loki. And I was just
Yeah,
like,
I mean they could do that. I don't think that has been done in the comics at all. In the comics, she's just like his one true love. You don't have to
yeah,
stick to that. So I think that somebody could write a pretty compelling story that puts her in the front there. Yeah, so I say go for it if they want to.
heck yeah,
I mean, like you said, they've already built her up through the Loki season 1 and 2 show. They would just have to start putting her in the movies. She's done plenty of movies. Also, very accomplished actress, so
hmm
she's definitely got the acting chops for it, and she's already in there. So that might be the best option right there.
yeah. And I am all for that. I would love to see that because now you're getting that woman representation of a really big major character too.
Yeah, and there aren't that many like female villains that they've had either. So to have one that is like sort of like the big bad of the entire saga, she could really bring a lot to the table for that.
Yeah.
Because last time around it was Josh Brolin as Thanos. This time around, hers is Kang. I'd say go for it.
And you got to keep Miss Minutes. You got to keep
Yeah,
Miss Minutes because I want to say Miss Minutes was probably one of my favorite characters in that whole series.
yeah.
Like to see how she turned from happy go lucky to like I'm evil.
The woman that does the voice for her is she's done so much voice acting. I can't remember her name offhand, but she's been in a ton. I think she was like the voice for I don't know. It's Friday after a long week of work. My brain feels
Yeah.
like it's not working right now. Who's the girl that's in Joker?
Harley Quinn?
Harley Quinn. She voiced Harley Quinn in the animated versions,
No
and a
way.
ton of other characters. I'm telling you, man, this woman, look her up right now. She's done a ton. I say bring her back.
I'm so with it.
Yeah, and I actually really, really enjoyed Loki season 2.
I did. I when I if I have to synopsis that show and what it did to my feelings, I think at the end of that episode, I literally sat there for a minute and just couldn't believe the character development that Disney did for Loki.
Yeah,
The development was so spot on. Like a minute, I mean, you thought that like maybe like after Ragnarok, they were kind of toss the Loki character aside, let things rock because he did his thing in the Battle of New York and things like that. But to see how they took it from when he took the Tesseracts in the first Avengers and showed it again in Endgame to where he is now, it was like all of this was just all about him. Like this was his story.
yeah,
Like similar to how Guardians of the Galaxy was Rocket's story.
yeah.
And it was phenomenal. Such a phenomenal show, and I personally, there's nothing that has topped that so far.
Honestly, like I was shocked at how much I liked the Loki show
I thought it
both
was going to
times
be.
around. Um, and yeah, I would anybody who hasn't seen that check it out. It's really good. It's really good. Nothing but
hmm
good things to say about that.
10 out
Um,
of 10 for real.
yeah, totally. And I don't the way they ended season 2. I don't think they're going to do anything more after this. It's like the perfect
Mm-mm.
ending for the show and for Loki. If they I mean they could bring him back, and like I said, I think they'll bring him back like at least once more.
hmm
But I don't see him having an arc after this. I think that's the arc to end it on. Um,
Yeah, especially because Tom Hiddleston said that it was what he said 14 years of his life
yeah,
finally
make that
came to
man
an end
James Bond. That's what I think.
with Idris Elba.
I'm always down for Idris Elba to be James Bond. I
Oh
say
yeah.
at least once. Give him one movie. There's plenty of Bond
let him.
actors that didn't get a ton, of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That guy only got to do it once. Timothy Dalton twice. Give
Daniel
it just
Craig did it,
one.
what, 3 times?
No, he did it like 6.
Really? Damn, I'm missing out
Casino
on.
Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die.
I saw the last 3 of those. I don't think I saw the first 3 that you
So are you saying
mentioned.
you haven't seen Skyfall?
I saw Skyfall.
Oh, all right.
Actually, I think I saw
Casino
Skyfall
Royale's
with you.
super good.
I saw Skyfall with you.
Did you?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, because didn't we live together and I like had it on Blu-ray or something?
Yeah, and I think we just watched it, and I
Yeah,
was like, the chair scene got me.
yeah. Oh, that the chair scene is Casino Royale.
Oh, that was because with the bottom chair. I swear that was Skyfall.
No, that's Casino Royale.
Then maybe I did see Casino Royale.
Yeah,
You're gonna make me watch all these James Bond movies again.
watch all of them. I
Hmm.
saw the new one; it's pretty good.
Yeah, there was a marathon on like I think a couple weeks ago too.
Nice.
So I'm gonna watch those again.
So just to close the loop, Tara Strong is the actress that voices Miss Minutes, and she has been Harley Quinn.
Raven.
She was the top result here is Harley Quinn in Arkham City. She
Hmm.
was in The Killing Joke as Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. She's had 651 acting credits up until this point. She was also Mainframe in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. She has been in, I don't know, like just looking through her list of everything she's done here, she has done a massive amount. She was in Teen Titans Go,
Yep, she's
see
Raven
Space
for Teen
Jam.
Titans Go. Yep, and she's also Timmy Turner.
She was in Rick and Morty.
Hmm.
Timmy Turner, what is that?
Very Odd Parents.
Oh, all right. She was in Superman Red Sun as young Superman. I don't know how she did that, but that just shows her range. Star Wars. She's got a massive amount of stuff here.
Yeah, Tara
Massive.
Strong is she's the GOAT
Yeah.
when it comes to voice acting.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is Jessica Jones.
That's a good
She
gaming.
Yep. The Guardians
Yeah.
of the Galaxy cartoon, she was Nova Prime, Alien, and Baby Bunny.
Oh,
Poison Ivy. She's done literally everything.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I got a couple pop figures that she can come sign.
Yeah, let's go to a Comic-Con and check them out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. You got anything else you want to put in about Echo or the current state of Marvel or anything like that?
Um, all I want to do is just tell you guys like Marvel is taking off. Like, and if you're patient and you stick with it, the story's gonna tell itself, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I know they've struggled through a couple different things here, but with them kind of pushing the ship towards Echo and Daredevil and these street level heroes for a little while, and then connecting back with Deadpool, Multiverse Saga, Fantastic Four, all of that. I think they have plenty of time to right the ship here, and
Hmm.
Echo is a great step in the right direction for the street level heroes. So they did awesome on that, and if they keep taking their time with it, and the fact that they hit the reset button on Daredevil, the fact that they would even do that, I think is a great sign. And they're like, no, we need to focus on quality going into the rest of this.
Yep.
So they're
For the
golden goose
fans.
over there at Disney right now.
Hmm. Gotta do it for the fans.
Yep. But all right, so that's all I got. So do you have anything else, Julian?
No, I'm all good, man.
All right. So thank you everybody so much for listening or watching the episode. Please follow, like, and subscribe wherever you are watching or listening to this. And if you're listening to it on Spotify, go ahead and leave me a 5-star rating. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.
All right, see you guys.